doesn't have to be this way. Hey, girl. Down on your luck. You get a podcast, you can still terrorize people. And no.
Stop scrolling. Seriously, put down your coffee, pause your playlist, and forget whatever you were about to DM your ex, because the internet just imploded. All because of one perfectly timed hip swing from a Duchess in fuzzy socks. It wasn't supposed to be news, just a playful clip. 20 seconds. But when Meghan Markle, yes, that Meghan Markle, posted a never-before-seen video from her 2021 labor room, what followed was digital bedlam. Headlines burst like champagne corks, hashtags exploded, gossip blogs melted into glittery puddles of disbelief.
Can't imagine having to feel like it's appropriate to have those sorts of close and should be otherwise private family conversations.
Picture he tries to paint with Queen Elizabeth, even saying during that BBC interview that the Queen wanted him to have this level of security.
The clip? Simple, but weaponized charm. Shot inside a softly lit hospital suite at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, Meghan stands barefoot on the polished tile floor, visibly 9 months along. She's wearing a loose maternity tank top, a messy bun, and socks with, no joke, tiny llamas on them. From the background, speakers thump out Baby Mama Dance. The vibe is cozy chaotic. One nurse drifts past calmly, as if twerking duchesses are just Tuesday business. Then Meghan does it. She bends slightly, gives a playful bounce of the hips.
The quote, Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history books, it says.
There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough.
Then two more. A mini twerk, not raunchy, not rehearsed. Just enough to say, yes, I'm in labor. And yes, I'm still that girl. Prince Harry, standing beside her, claps like a toddler at a birthday party, all red-cheeked enthusiasm and dad energy. The couple bursts into giggles. It's candid, it's sweet, it's weirdly powerful. And it was supposed to stay in the vault. Until June 4, 2025, Lilibet's 4th birthday, when Meghan drops it on Instagram with a caption so casual it could cut diamonds. Spicy food failed, acupuncture failed, so dance party it is. No warning, no PR lead up, just 20 seconds of unexpected energy.
Is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of colour.
Meghan has always been a mad, keen player of the victim card. The nasty Brits who took against her because of the colour of her skin.
Within minutes, the algorithm takes over. Social media goes feral. Instagram Reels push it front and center. TikTok loses its mind. Reaction videos, recreations, parodies, it spreads faster than any royal moment since Diana's wedding. By hour 3, it's been viewed 11 million times. By midnight, it's trending in 37 countries. Memes spawn by the second. Think animated GIFs of Meghan's twerk layered over footage of King Charles's coronation. Think Harry clapping edited into scenes from Cheer and Whiplash. And then come the hot takes. Oh, the hot takes. A drag queen in Palm Springs named Lady Placenta tweets, "This is the most deranged thing I've ever seen, and I once watched a birth behind a cheesecake factory." 53,000 retweets.
Meghan's detractors have been calling for them to be stripped of their HRH since they left the royal family over 5 years ago. But those calls seem to be growing louder and from a more widespread community. And I think that's partly because of this interview over the weekend, which has actually backfired spectacularly.
Piers Morgan, eternally allergic to Meghan's existence, detonates in real time, squeezing the phrases royal disgrace and woke labor into a single tweet storm. Within 2 hours, he's trending on 3 continents. TikTok moms start a hashtag Royal Bump Shuffle Challenge. Some of them film twerking in delivery rooms. One even has an OBGYN join in during contractions. A Fortnite modder adds Meghan's dance as an unlockable emote. Deepfakes explode. Her twerk gets layered onto Beyoncé's Coachella performance, Nicki Minaj videos, even a bizarre edit of Churchill giving a wartime speech.
Hasn't he? I actually feel, for the first time, a bit sorry for him. He's so lost.
He's deep down in that burrow, isn't he? It's sort of hard to retrieve yourself out of that.
Well, that interview sparked widespread backlash, with a new poll revealing a majority of Brits want to see Harry stripped of his HRH title. For more, we're joined by royal expert.
And naturally, the conspiracy machine goes full throttle. A close-up still of Meghan's belly spawns theories. That's not a real bump. Threads pop up claiming the hospital room's a green screen. One Redditor insists the IV pole in the corner is too modern for a real hospital. A TikTok user freeze-frames Meghan's earrings and cross-references them with a jewelry catalog from 2023, arguing the clip is definitely staged later. Body language experts dissect Harry's claps like they're encrypted CIA codes. One YouTube guru with 400,000 followers insists Meghan's eye roll at the end proves the video was never meant for public view.
Just wait until Prince William is king. I think he's going to put his handsome foot down and he is going to rock Meghan Markle's world. Meghan Markle is going to be humbled very quickly.
According to a report in OK Magazine, Prince William plans on stripping both Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles.
And yet, that's exactly why it works. It feels real. Raw, messy, personal. A moment from a woman balancing duchessness and motherhood like a plate spinner on reality TV. Not a royal wave from a palace balcony, but a hip pop in a hospital gown. That contrast is what sets this viral blaze apart. It's not polished, it's not approved, it's not dignified. And that, apparently, is why it broke the internet. Let's rewind. Strip away the likes, the hashtags, the Twitter meltdowns, before the internet erupted, before Piers Morgan self-combusted on live TV, before TikTok turned it into a global maternity trend.
Your family, especially William and Kate, didn't develop reservations about Meghan because of the way she bullied palace staff. She was simply the victim of royal racism. All of this is nonsense.
A conversation with you,
With Harry.
about...
There was just a woman in labor, a playlist, and one unexpected burst of joy. It's late May 2021. The sun is beginning to set over Montecito, filtering through the hospital blinds in soft amber streaks. Inside Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital's private maternity suite, designed less like a hospital room and more like a high-end Airbnb, Meghan Markle is waiting. Not patiently, not peacefully, but with a head full of static and a body on the verge of splitting open.
All right, well, the rift in the royal family is once again in the spotlight, with Prince Harry airing his grievances to the world after losing a security battle.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point.
She's been here for hours, maybe days. Time has gone stretchy, untrustworthy. Her team has brought snacks, vegan muffins, pressed juices, a suspiciously fancy oat milk latte that's long gone cold. There's a stack of baby books on the windowsill. A framed ultrasound photo sits next to a lavender-scented diffuser, puffing gentle clouds into the air like it's trying to calm the room by force. Meghan has tried everything. Spicy food, bouncing on a yoga ball, acupuncture, meditation, nada. Lilibet is stubborn, apparently. A royal trait. Prince Harry, meanwhile, is pure golden retriever energy. He's pacing the room in mismatched socks, refilling Meghan's water cup every 10 minutes like it's a sacred duty. He's already knocked over a tray of apple slices, apologized to the nurse 6 times, and tried twice to assemble a portable fan from Amazon that nobody asked for. The mood in the room is weirdly light. Not serene. Nothing about labor is serene, but there's a shared silliness. The kind of giddy delirium that only comes when you're deep into a long, anxious night with someone you love. Meghan's laughing between contractions. Harry's cracking jokes that make his grandfather wince. Then the song hits. It starts as a joke. Meghan scrolls through her Baby Arrival Vibes playlist on her phone, searching for something, anything, to distract her from the slow, grinding waves of discomfort. Then she sees it. Baby Mama Dance by Tink and Fat Man Scoop. They'd laughed about it months earlier. Played it in the kitchen once during a prenatal check-in, a total banger in a completely ridiculous context. She taps play. The beat drops. A nurse peeks in, gives a knowing smile, and walks out. And suddenly, Meghan moves. It's not a full-on dance routine. Her belly is massive. Her back aches. Her ankles are swollen to twice their size, but something inside her clicks into rhythm. She gives a little bounce, rolls her hips, lifts her arms like she's commanding the room, and then, just for a second, she dips into a soft, perfectly timed twerk. Harry lets out a half laugh, half cheer. He claps along, offbeat, of course, but completely committed. There's no choreography, no posing, just a woman reclaiming her body for 20 seconds in a moment that usually feels out of control. And because this is Meghan Markle, former actress, seasoned in camera angles, now married into royalty, someone is filming. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a doula. Maybe it's Meghan herself with a front-facing cam. But the clip is captured, and it's magic. Not because it's outrageous, but because it's exactly the opposite. It's raw, unstaged, comfortably messy, a little glamorous, a little goofy. It feels like a behind-the-scenes blooper reel for a family that's spent years being anything but candid. And in that fleeting moment, the hospital room becomes more than a space for labor. it becomes a microcosm of everything Meghan's presence in the royal orbit has meant. A mix of tradition and rebellion, formality and flair, vulnerability and power. The video ends abruptly, just as another contraction kicks in. Meghan winces, breathes deep, and the camera shakes. Harry leans in, takes her hand, and then it's back to the real work. No one outside that room sees the footage for years. It's saved, maybe forgotten, buried in a phone gallery among baby bump selfies and blurry ultrasound shots. One of a million private moments. But unlike the rest, this one is a time bomb, waiting. And 4 years later, it goes off like fireworks across the globe.
When the video dropped, it didn't just trend, it detonated. 20 seconds of Meghan Markle twerking in labor unleashed a cultural earthquake that sent shockwaves from Buckingham Palace to late-night talk shows to anonymous internet forums fueled by caffeine and royal obsession. The first to react? The press. Within an hour, every British tabloid had spun up an emergency homepage redesign. The Daily Mail ran "Bump and Grindgate" in 92-point font. The Sun countered with "Labor of Scandal." ITV scrambled to push a panel of pearl-clutching royal commentators onto a primetime slot. Even The Guardian, normally above the tabloid mess, caved, publishing a 2,000-word think piece on the body politics of the birthing Duchess. Across the Atlantic, Good Morning America reran the clip 4 times in an hour. Trevor Noah called it the first royal moment worth watching since Prince Louis's epic side-eye. By lunchtime, the clip had hit every late-night monologue. Fallon danced it, Kimmel spoofed it, Colbert compared it to the Boston Tea Party. Another American woman shaking things up in England. Meanwhile, inside palace walls, the mood was somewhere between total meltdown and unprintable panic. According to sources quoted, and probably exaggerated, by multiple royal correspondents, King Charles was handed a printed screenshot of the video while enjoying his usual morning Darjeeling. He reportedly sighed so hard a corgi barked from another room. Aides say he muttered just 2 words: "Of course."
Queen Camilla, when briefed, allegedly whispered, "Beyond the pale,"
then poured herself a triple gin and turned off her phone. A separate, now infamous account claims a Buckingham staffer fainted, not from shock, but from trying to suppress a laugh in front of a senior advisor. 3 draft statements were prepared by the palace's communications team. 1 leaned into humor, 1 leaned into disappointment, and 1 simply said no comment 20 times in slightly different fonts. None were released. The royal family chose silence. But silence in 2025 doesn't mute the story, it only makes it echo louder. Social media filled the void. Royal loyalists clutched their pearls so tightly it left marks. One post from a woman in Surrey read, "The Queen never twerked in labor, God rest her." Another commenter on a royal Facebook group declared, "This is the end of dignity as we know it." But younger Brits had other ideas. "Honestly, kinda iconic," wrote a 22-year-old in Bristol. TikTok teens flooded the app with split-screen duets. British mums recreated the move, baby bumps and all. One clip from a labor ward in Manchester featured a nurse dancing alongside her patient, clocking 4 million likes in 24 hours. Still, the official royal camp remained in lockdown. Prince William, ever the statesman, avoided the topic entirely while on a mental health engagement in Leeds. Catherine, Princess of Wales, reportedly advised to smile and pivot, made no public acknowledgement. The strategy? Act as though nothing happened. As if 70 million people hadn't just watched Meghan Markle wiggle her hips during active labor. Privately, the palace was livid. Anonymous insiders told the press the video torpedoes all progress made on reconciliation. One leaked quote made it to the Times. "They've turned the monarchy into a meme. This isn't just bad taste, it's brand warfare." And that's the crux. This wasn't just a video, it was a cultural collision. A direct challenge to the monarchy's slow, careful rebranding under Charles. Just months earlier, he'd announced plans to streamline the crown for the modern age, less pomp, more purpose. Meghan's reel, dropped without warning, hijacked that narrative. Suddenly, modern monarchy didn't look like a recycled Earth Day initiative or a charity Zoom call. It looked like a hospital twerk gone global.
The media couldn't get enough. For once, the royals weren't fighting about tiaras or titles. They were fighting TikTok. Commentators debated decorum. Think piece after think piece asked, "Is joy unroyal?" One viral article from The Atlantic declared, "She didn't break protocol, she replaced it." Whether it was an act of rebellion, a publicity stunt, or just an overwhelmed mother blowing off steam, it didn't matter anymore. The story was everywhere. And for the royals, used to controlling the message, this wasn't just a breach, it was a takeover.
The palace went silent. The press went wild. But across the Atlantic, in a sun-drenched Montecito estate with sweeping mountain views and a security gate thick enough to survive a medieval siege, Meghan and Harry were already flipping the script. Because if there's one thing the Sussexes understand, it's that controversy is currency, and every viral storm can be redirected, repackaged, and rerouted into opportunity. Within 48 hours of the video's explosion, the hashtags began to shift. What started as a swirl of shock and snark
Bump and Grindgate, Fake Bumpgate, Twerk Too Far began to evolve. New ones emerged. Royal Bump Shuffle, Mama Markle Moves, Joy is Power. The change wasn't accidental. Sources close to the couple confirmed the Sussex comm squad had sprung into overdrive before the news cycle could collapse under the weight of its own memes. Their move? Reframe the chaos as purposeful, transform spectacle into service. By day 3, a link appeared in Meghan's Instagram bio, a small, unassuming update. It led to a fundraiser. Proceeds from the now famous Royal Bump Shuffle trend would support maternal health organizations across the US and UK. A short message followed. Every mother deserves joy, even in the hardest moments. It worked. Suddenly, the tone online shifted. Supporters flooded timelines with messages of praise. This is what leadership looks like. Normalize dancing through the pain. This woman is redefining royal womanhood in real time. Instagram accounts that had once speculated about fake pregnancies were now sharing infographics on maternal mortality rates.
Critics didn't vanish, but they got drowned out. Late-night hosts retooled their jokes. Fallon ran a segment about dads dancing in delivery rooms. Jimmy Kimmel updated his monologue. Say what you will about Meghan, but if your birth video doesn't include choreography, are you even parenting? Even the New York Times bit, a lifestyle column titled Labor as Liberation, ran above the fold. Meghan had transcended tabloid chaos. Again. Behind the scenes, PR experts and crisis managers were in awe, even if they wouldn't say so publicly. One anonymous industry insider told The Hollywood Reporter, "No one controls narrative like Meghan. She earned a twerk into a TED Talk." It helped that controversy was nothing new to the Sussexes. They'd built a post-royal brand on walking tightropes between vulnerability and control, between victimhood and power. Their 2022 Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan had been a massive streaming hit, pulling record numbers but also spawning the phrase professional victims in more than one op-ed. The memoir Spare had its own media hurricane, full of frostbitten genitals and sibling showdowns. Meghan's cooking show with Love Meghan launched big in 2023 but flopped critically, labeled charisma-free cupcake hour by one particularly savage critic. Spotify pulled out of their deal months later, with one exec caught on record calling them f***ing grifters. Their animated project Pearl died in development. Rumors of Emmy voters icing them out went unchallenged. So when the twerk video surfaced, many expected the Sussexes to go dark, to wait it out behind the gates of their Montecito fortress. But this time was different. Meghan leaned in. She appeared unannounced on a panel about motherhood and joy hosted by a maternal health nonprofit in LA. Dressed in soft pastels, glowing and composed, she didn't mention the video outright, but her message was clear. Joy doesn't need permission. Netflix, sensing a clickstorm bonanza, doubled down. Season 2 of With Love Meghan remained on the schedule. No edits, no delays. In fact, a teaser dropped a week after the viral clip, with suspiciously well-timed footage of Meghan dancing in the kitchen with Lilibet. Whether it was planned or post hoc didn't matter. The effect was the same. Curiosity surged. Subscriptions spiked. The media labeled it the twerk pivot, a new kind of crisis response, part influencer savvy, part royal audacity. Critics still rolled their eyes. Royal insiders fumed, but none of it mattered. Meghan had seized the moment. Again. And the message, both deliberate and accidental, was clear. This isn't the monarchy anymore. This is media monarchy. And in this kingdom, clicks are the crown jewels. In the end, it wasn't just about a dance. It never is. The twerk was the spark, but the fire it lit revealed something far bigger. A new royal reality where influence matters more than lineage. Virality trumps virtue, and the crown doesn't sit on a head, it lives on a screen. The moment Meghan's hips bounced to baby mama dance in that softly lit hospital room, she wasn't just reclaiming her body during labor. She was unintentionally, or maybe strategically, redefining what it means to be seen in a digital monarchy. Not a monarchy of bloodlines and balcony waves, but one ruled by the logic of the algorithm. Attention is the new aristocracy, and Meghan, for all the backlash, wears it like a crown. Because in 2025, public figures aren't measured by their titles. They're measured by reach, by relatability, by the emotional hooks they embed in your feed. Meghan knows this. She's been living it since the day she stepped into Windsor Castle and hugged a stranger, breaking protocol with a single squeeze. Her critics frame her moves as craven. Her fans frame them as courageous. But both sides agree on one thing: they can't stop watching. The royals, by contrast, are still playing catch-up. For centuries, their power came from mystery, controlled appearances, carefully orchestrated optics. Even in modern times, their communication strategy is part press release, part poker face. Dignity is their defense mechanism. Silence is their strongest statement. But silence doesn't win engagement. And in a world where everyone has a platform and nothing stays buried, that's no longer enough. When the Twerk video dropped, the Monarchy's brand strategy, modern, minimal, respectable, was instantly hijacked. For weeks, it was no longer about Charles's streamlined reign or William and Catherine's quiet dignity. It was about Meghan. Again, not because she demanded it, but because she moved, literally, and the world couldn't look away.
Even the royal response, or lack thereof, became part of the discourse. Every day they stayed silent, commentators filled the vacuum. Why won't they speak? Should they respond? Does ignoring it make it worse? Meghan didn't just drop a video. She forced the monarchy into a PR war they weren't ready for and arguably couldn't win. Meanwhile, culture ran with it. Late-night shows kept the bit going. TikTok challenges turned into charity drives. Merch popped up on Etsy, mugs, hoodies, water bottles emblazoned with "Twerk like a Duchess" in pink cursive. Spotify playlists emerged with titles like "Royally Pregnant." One birth coach reported an actual spike in clients requesting dance breaks during labor. Even academia got involved. A Columbia professor published a short essay titled, "When the Crown Shakes, Labor, Identity, and Post-Monarchical Femininity." It went viral on LinkedIn. That's how far this thing spread. And amid all of it, Meghan remained poised, present, but not panicked. Her team released no defensive statements. She didn't clap back. She didn't explain. She let the internet do what it does best: argue, remix, reframe. Because in this economy, this attention economy, being the story is the win.
So where does this leave the royal family? On fragile footing. With every viral disruption, the divide between tradition and relevance gets wider. Charles continues to preach climate action and constitutional restraint. William invests in mental health initiatives and fatherhood narratives. Catherine, recovering from illness, embodies quiet resilience. But none of them can shake the algorithm like Meghan can with a 20-second dance.
And that's the paradox. The more the institution tries to preserve mystique, the more it gets drowned out by those who play the game differently. The ones who understand that being royal in 2025 isn't about bloodlines anymore. It's about bandwidth, about commanding attention, about speaking the internet's language without saying a word. It's a strange evolution, one that Diana's story hinted at, but Meghan's story fully realized. A twerk in a labor room shouldn't carry cultural weight, but here we are, and maybe that's the point.
Maybe joy, raw, messy, unfiltered, is its own kind of revolution. Maybe that's the new royal protocol, not standing still, but moving, dancing, owning every frame, refusing to be flattened into palace-approved sound bites. So now the world watches, not out of obligation, not because of duty, but because curiosity is the new loyalty. And Meghan? She's not just in the spotlight, she is the spotlight. So keep your phone charged. Because if a 20-second hip roll and fuzzy socks can shake the institution to its core, imagine what happens when season 2 drops, or when King Charles tries the Macarena at Trooping the Color. In the digital kingdom, the crown doesn't weigh heavy. It just goes viral.